So let's keep our poor throat a little bit wetted here. Oh, hello, friends? No? Where is everybody? Welp. Not the end of the world. In fact, probably kind of ideal for us. We're getting a decent number of gold pickups, just as we were hoping for. Why was I so optimistic about our chances in Orc here? Why did I forget that Orc priests are definitely a thing and will be a problem? Your guess is as good as mine, because unfortunately, I don't even pretend to begin to understand the machinations of my own mind here, much less anyone else's. But taking care of the Orc priest should be fine for the rest of you kiddos, though I don't like archers. If our journey and dealing with the Centaur Warrior didn't teach you anything, it's that good old elf, the deep elf here, does not like archers. Let's make sure we cement that in. But we're getting very, very close to the good stuff here. What is that? 31 gold remaining? And 25 being our immediate pickup is definitely making some good movement in that regard. You know what? I'm starting to think this was a half-decent plan. Contrary to most of the things that I'm able to cook up on these Sunday evenings, this time actually seems like we might be doing something semi-intelligent. Let's not get too crazy. Start calling our shots here, but at least for the moment I'm pretty happy with that. Something I also forgot to flag and talk about was that Kiku, I believe, gave us some more spells as well here. So we should have a few more necromancy. We do have Death Channel. So I think Death Channel is actually a decent spell to hook up with some better damage. I mean, it's not great for OTR. Never mind, scratch that one off. It's not great for refrigeration, but it's not horrible either. Most undead is at least resistant to cold and completely immune to poison. So in a good spot there. But more importantly, for our intents and purposes at the moment here, OTR, perfect. Let's definitely learn that son of a gun. And how are we doing on Ignite Poison? 9%, still not great. In fact, maybe I'll start the alchemy training just a smidge, just a wee bit. Take a look at our macros. Okay, we do have the ZN, but let's get our 0 key. Oh, never mind. We did have both. I just can't see. Perfect. Hi, my name is Torinski. I'm however old, and I don't know how to read. How old am I? 29? Getting up there? Who knows? Your guess is as good as mine. But, yes, we have all those spells learned, so let's actually go through. And I think we'll want Ignite Poison on capital N, or rather opposite, OTR on capital N, and Ignite Poison on capital M, and that allows us to do the 1-2 punch with our macros. So that's beautiful, and in fact, we'll probably head right back to work here. I mean, High Priests are going to be a problem. Let's not get it too twisted there, but should largely take care of themselves at least. And, you know, it has been too long. I feel like we haven't had a solid OTR Ignite Poison run in a very, very long time. And I'm looking forward to seeing it here today, as long as we can stay alive long enough. That bombardment from our kobold friend there was unfortunately already, again, a little bit of a wake-up call that we may not be quite as physically, emotionally, and mentally prepared for this as I was originally hoping. But, I mean, just OTR is taking care of most of you. I haven't even dipped in to the igniting of said poison, so that at least is a very nice and mana efficient path to fighting these sons of guns. Oh, and you have an arbalist. That is not very chill or cool of you, my friend. Okay, we're back at max range at least, so I should be able to safely make it to my stairwell. And you know, I kind of knew this was obviously a potential outcome here. Orc very often does have these arbalists slinging sons of guns, but I was hoping against hope here that we wouldn't have to deal with too many of them. If you get lucky, you can oftentimes just get hordes of sword and board sons of guns here. And hey, there's still hope left as we start to see a little bit more of that in these more recent encounters. Man, there is something very, very wonderful about OTR Ignite Poison, gotta say. These poor Sons Guns never stood a chance. But okay, that does bring us back up to hitting all the skills that we had set out for ourselves. So where do we wish to go next here? We could pivot back into the kind of spellcasting evocations mix that we were in the interim of training before being able to pick up the alchemy spells. Alternatively, if we're starting to plan for the future, fire magic, I guess? Do we want ignition online next? Potentially even more ice magic to get fridge going. I guess if we're going to potentially have polar vortex as our kind of pie in the sky goal for a level 9 spell, a bit more ice and magic at any point in our run doesn't exactly hurt. So let's bring that up just a smidge here. And actually take a peek at that fridge as well. Still very uncastable, to be expected. But I think that may indeed be our goal for the future. Ooh, and you, my friend, are not getting quite as poisoned as I would like. A resilient sucker if I ever saw one. But fortunately not resilient enough, which is definitely what we love to see here. What we love and hope to see here on the channel, really, at the end of the day. And right, we could start using a hand cannon if we wanted to pivot now. Oh my gosh. Friends. No, I'm one of you. Stop. Stop this madness. No, unfortunately, high elves only want one thing, and it's freaking disgusting. Never mind, you actually are explicitly deep elves. What the hell? What the heck, man? Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Oh Lord, why can't we be friends? +1 whip of distortion. Very interesting. Does BO know that you're fraternizing with a little bit of Lugano action on the side? Because, gotta say, unless that's a pre-arrangement of your relationship, I kind of think that's probably a bit of a transgression, no? I mean, to each their own, and no judgment here. Far be it from me to lay judgment when here I am worshipping the personification or deification of death itself, as one does. Oh, Snorg should go down with a final ignite poison there. Still at the prison for backup as well, so that's fantastic. And getting awfully close, I would assume, to finishing off the last little bit of orc here. Still have the final chamber, which, oh, I'm sure will be a nightmare. Don't you worry your pretty little head about it, elf. But we shall see. In fact, hello? Where are all my orcs at? A couple of orc warriors is not exactly the might I expected BO to bring to bear here this evening. again, which sounds a heck of a lot like a complaint, and I do not mean for such to be the case, because I would very much prefer even if we could stay kind of chill. Okay, here we go. In fact, I probably should have started walking away sooner. A bit of random energy saved our lives there. And we shall keep on keeping on. Just run away like we so bravely do. I guess I could try to turn you to my side. 41% chance. I mean, at a certain point, we're going to stop being able to use these. So, for the time being, oof. How much have I told you, kiddos? To stop with the arbalists, man. It's so frigged up of you. Do I bother trying to play this one out? Make friends. Go kill the one with the crossbow, please. Thank you. That is wonderful. And then, in fact, if you could just walk that way for a moment. It's like when you play a trick on your dog and you divert their attention, disappear, and they suddenly have no idea what's going on. Little known fact, orcs also do not have object permanence. In that specific fashion, I guess they're not so different from a toddler here. Yikes. The way they do differ from a toddler is their ability to pull a bow and launch arrows our direction, much to our disappointment. But let us just murder off a few more of these sons of guns. Even the orc priests, not too bad at the end of the day, as long as we have full magic pools to fling at them here. So that's fantastic. In fact, I'd probably almost prefer those to a large contingent of melee sons of guns here. Yeah, I'll amend that statement. I definitely prefer them to large contingents of ranged weapon users, if our ample complaining of that mechanic isn't evidence enough on its own to give that impression. But okay, ice magic shot up there real fast. I guess we do actually need more training of it. Do I go all the way to 20 now? Is this just my life? Nothing but ice magic until the day I die? Maybe. Maybe indeed. But for the moment, let's actually take a peek at just what our progress has brought us. Never mind, we don't actually need it quite that high. Already down to 19% failure rate on Fridge. Oh me, oh my. Well, that's getting real close. I kind of forgot about how this was changed. So no longer prevents us from drinking potions, right? That was removed potentially a couple of updates ago. But it deals less damage to clumps of enemies. So if I could actually get ignition and refrigeration in tandem, that kind of becomes the shining star of it all. Interesting. Well, something to keep an eye out for the future. I'd like to be slightly more efficient with our magic usage here. In fact, we should almost definitely not be using OTR when there are just single enemies in range, because, I mean, as they made painfully aware, we just burn through all of our magic reserves and then have nothing for the next crew that comes our way. I make specific exceptions, of course. To anyone wielding a bow, them, I will use all of our magic immediately. To, you know, show them as a bit of a lesson for any future sons of guns that come our way. But an artifact ring, I'm almost guaranteed to pick up. Gonna hold off until we've checked out our other shops, just in case we get some incredible things. A potion of degeneration, while not an incredible thing, is a very, very cheap thing. So we can get a free ID by just picking up one of these. A brilliance. I mean, Lig is pretty cheap too, so I might just pick up one of those bad boys. But resistance, brilliance, and cancellation should all be marked as let's come back here in the future to pick those bad boys up. And then orb, magic cloak, magic gloves even. Okay, this is a very fruitful selection of shops. But let's think this through. Currently have 560 gold pieces, so we could get the ring and the amulet, which does sound kind of nice right now. Otherwise, we still, at some point, probably want ignition from this book, but it's nice and cheap, so should be able to hit that capstone a bit later down the road, especially since it will take us quite a bit of time to train up fire magic enough to actually make that usable, so again, I don't think that's a real problem that we need to think about or deal with. So I guess just both those rings, that's 270. So still leaving us with 210? No, 270. 280 plus 280 is 560. So it leaves us with 290? 290 plus 270? Right? Can I do math at all live on air? Not really. But let's assume that's right. And maybe instead of just thinking it through here, why don't we just buy them? And we're left with 280. Damn it. Why am I so bad at math? Interesting. Well, it's a ring of ice, which we do use ice magic. If we can get the necessary fire resistance to offset that, then it's probably a good idea. Resist poison and corrosion on the back end is pretty nice to have. Of course, Amulet of Regen we'll throw on right away, because that's just fantastic. Not that we have much health to really operate within for that regen, but every little bit helps with our continued survival moving forward, so not too shabby. The ring, I think we'll have to think a bit more about, because I don't really want to be caught unawares by fire. When you only have 70 HP, vulnerability to fire can definitely get you killed off in a single turn if you're not paying attention. But with our little bit of extra gold here, ooh, 6 gold pieces short. Don't really need the resistance, I guess. I mean, hopefully I won't need any of these in the immediate future. Let's spend all of our money. Shall we? At least get those ID'd, especially having 4 cancellation. Holy moly. Well, I guess if and when we need those, we know we have a decent selection at our disposal. And we have a robe of cold resistance. Any other robes that I may have missed? I guess a ringmail of fire resistance could be semi-useful. Oh, I think with 4 strength, we're not looking at any armor as being feasible, at least for the near future here. And I was about to say we have the potential to get a little bit more money on floor 1 there, but evidently that is not the case. And so, I think it will be to lair next. And fridge says close enough. Let's learn it. That does get rid of all of our remaining spell levels, so I guess we're not learning anything new for the foreseeable future here, at least for the short term. And let's actually make some amendments to our training plan here, down to 16 for the target on ice magic. We'll see where that leaves us on fridge, and then we can worry about polar vortex at another date. And is there anything else that we want in the meantime? Ignite poison at 6%. It's not great, but that's not too bad. I guess it's 4 NP per cast. So, what's a little bit of fire magic? Bring it up to 4 will take no time at all, and we'll see where that leaves us in that regard. Because it's averaging out between these, I don't know how much of an effect that will have. I guess 8 isn't that high either, so pretty decent effect actually. And what else? What else? I'm tempted to put back on Evo and or spellcasting, but let's stick to that for now. we can kind of play it by ear and make any changes as we see fit as we continue forward. And that wasn't the right spell, but we'll fix that up. And all in all, I think we're ready for Lair. What we will be hoping for are a lot of yak packs. Please and thank you. Because I can do that. Blow them all to smithereens without too much worries here. Now the simple satisfaction of OTR and Lair. No kidding. It's a little bit of RNG because you always have the chance that it's going to be just nothing but poison resistant enemies. But when it works, ooh, baby, does it just work. Someone call Todd Howard up into this mix because it just works, baby. And that should just about do the trick for us as well. What I'm actually kind of hoping for at this moment is shoals. It's one of the rare times that shoals... In fact, let me amend that statement even further. I want shoals and spider as our two S branches here, because with that combination, OTR will carry us through the first couple of runes of the run. So, fingers crossed. Here's to dreaming. Here's to looking at you, kid. And we'll hope that we do see that eventuality come to pass. Ooh. As we pick up a natural version of Ignition. Also, something in my mouth, one moment. That means we can take the spell book of Spontaneous Combustion off of our list, and we have that for the future. It's of course going to be completely unusable, as to be expected. But again, if we could potentially get both that and Fridge up and running throughout the course of this run, then I think we have AoE pretty much settled. I mean, toss a polar vortex on top of that, and oh boy, are we cooking with nitroglycerin, I guess, is the more apt fluid in that regard. But okie dokie. I mean, so far we are getting super lucky. This is the dream scenario of Lair. It's all packs of enemies, none of which are prepared for the heat we're about to bring. In fact, excuse me, sir, if you could step right this way. Perfect. Don't know what happened to the rest of you. I do love that our freezing clouds are able to exist on top of lava